Good afternoon, everyone. It is August 3rd. Welcome to the Lionsgate portal. Another reason why I wanted to touch on this subject, because this portal, everything has led up to this time, everything we've done. This is the time that we put it in the action. We make it happen. And it's stepping into where we wanted to be, where we need to be, to the timeline of what we're supposed to be doing this year. The first part of the year was getting there. And Venus, lovely Venus, goes into Libra this week, which balances the scales of love. And if I'm right, Chiron goes into Taurus. So we got a lot of anchoring things, a lot of stuff astrologically going on. But this is a good time for this conversation. I don't want to get into the details so much because that's not important this time. Being out with the bronchitis that I had, I read a book, and I could not put this book down. And even when I wasn't reading it, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about the characters and the acts that were going on in this, and what was happening. And when I did finish it, I probably want to say the last 6 chapters I cried through. Not because it's sappy or sad per se, because it touched my soul so deeply. And it's on a subject that means a lot to me, which is kindness. You see, I get teared up because it is so important in life right now. And there are different acts of kindness, yes. I like to quote the Gandalf that the smallest act of kindness makes the biggest impression. And that's true. But with this book, and this is it, if you guys, I saw it, but an amazing book. I think it's Adam Levi. And I said Levy, but I think it's Levi. About this older gentleman that retires to Golden, Georgia. And he goes by one name. He won't tell many people about him. Not because he has anything to hide, just because he takes the time to, he asks questions. He doesn't answer questions. He's at a point in his life where I have time to listen. And that kindness, that taking the time of truly listening, and we're all guilty of it. We think we know what someone's going to say, so we're already in our head, and especially ones us that, have the gift of spirits talking to us the whole time too. And because we want to help the person, we want to give them advice, but sometimes people don't want advice. They don't want to know. They just want to be heard. And that's what I'm getting at. Taking the time. Time is one of our most prized commodities. The time that we give somebody just to let them talk, to be heard. One of my favorite lines from Avatar is, I see you. And so many people just truly want to be seen, even if it's for 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Walk away from that conversation wow, I think they really heard me. I think they saw me. And to be acknowledged that way. And I know we all have super, super busy lives. We work full time. So many of us have children. I have grown children, but my youngest is still here every day. I see him almost every day, and I love that, and I cherish it. and it's making time. Us in the spiritual community, we're either doing readings or learning or setting up to have events, and the healers seem like they don't have time because we're always out there putting ourselves out there to have time to help others. But sometimes that help is just letting them be seen, be letting them just talk. We don't have to give them an answer. It's okay sometimes to say, I don't know. but I hear you. And I empathize with you, and the compassion to just let him talk and not have the ego that I don't have advice to give them. I just sit with them, and that in itself is healing. So I ask you these questions, a couple of them. One, when's the last time you felt heard? When's the last time you felt truly seen in this busy life? In turn, when have you given that to someone else? Now, I'm not saying that you have to go out and, give up all your time and all that, but when you see a situation arise with someone, and a lot of times it's not what they're saying, it's what they don't say. Read the body language, read how they're acting with you, and, short answers. I'm like, they really do need to talk. They just don't know where to start. And they don't want to burden people. People feel like they're putting a burden on us. That's how I want to put it. For wanting to talk about a problem. And that's not the issue. Sometimes we have friends that keep coming at us with the same thing over and over and over. Well, it's because they're not feeling heard. They're not feeling seen. And they're going to keep coming at us with the same thing. Now, can we make them stop talking about it? No. But if we acknowledge it back, like, I hear this is what you're saying. And sometimes it's a matter of they having the perspective of, well, this is how I see it. This is what I hear you saying. If you repeat that back to them, this is what I hear you telling me. Am I correct? Am I hearing you right? That's golden. I mean, that acknowledges that we heard them and that we're truly listening. And, don't sit there and wait in your head like, I'm going to tell them this, or I got to tell them that, or no. It's also a time for us to learn patience. We always ask the great creator, give me patience, give me patience. Well, in situations like that, the creator is putting us in the position to have patience, to sit there and truly listen. And it's hard. I know it's hard for some of us, but sometimes that's all people need. And that's what this book has a lot. This is golden. This is truly a priceless, many lessons in this book, many stories. And another video I'm going to make is about stories. We all have our own story. And sometimes we're too blinded with the negative to see the good in our story, or like, why is this happening to me? Well, it's part of our story. It's part of, we have to walk these steps to go where we're going. Not all stories are rainbow and sunshine all the time. There has to be balance. But this book, I do recommend it. But what I'm getting at this week, and I don't want to feel like I'm on a soapbox, because I'm not. This is truly something that is so dear to my heart that, I put that book down and I'm like, Spirit put this book in front of me because this is the impact I want to have on people. This is how I want to be as a healer. I don't always have the answer. I can't always give you what you want to hear, but I can listen. And sometimes that's more precious than an answer. Because a lot of times when a person feels that they're truly heard, it clears space for the answers to come into themselves. So with this Lionsgate portal and all this energy, You know, Libra's going, like I said, Libra's going into, I'm sorry, Venus is going into Libra. All that love is balancing out, relationships, partnerships, family. That's important at this, in friendship, in this is kindness. If you just find it in your heart, at some point in your day, you're walking, we all walk through the grocery store, we all walk down the street, we all pass strangers in the day. And we truly look at them and tell them, I hope your day's okay. You know, one thing that I read, and I was doing it for a while, and when I think about it, I do it. When you see someone, you don't ask them, how are you doing? How's your day? No. Because that's a programmed response in our head. Oh, great, how are you? You know, we just keep moving. You stop. Like, are you happy? What was good about today? What was bad about today? Those are the kinds of questions. At some point, we should stop and ask somebody throughout the day, whether it be your child, when you say, you know, what did you learn in school today? I do that with a friend of mine. He comes down there. He's 12 years old, and I always ask him, Odin, what did you learn today? And I usually get a question. I usually get an answer of, oh, blah, blah, blah. But there's times he'll sit down and he'll talk my leg off and told me what he learned. That's what I mean. Just simple questions like that. I just urge everyone to find that kindness. There are acts of kindness that we do. You know, those are huge too. The small acts of kindness, the small things. But this is a big one because it takes time. And we're all very busy. But if we slow down and take the time, it'll make a difference in someone's life. And maybe not one that you even see right away, or you might not ever even know it. But it's good for your soul, and it's good for theirs. So I leave you with that. You know, I open it up with, I'm here when people need to talk. I leave that. You know, I might not always have the answer. I might not really know what you're talking about, but I'll listen, and I'll give you honest reply. And I might not have the time right then when you need it, but I will tell you, let's talk at this time on this day. Or, you know, I don't want to always say let's make an appointment because my life's not that busy yet. But sometimes I don't want to just say let's just chat through a text either. If you really need to talk to me, I'll be here. You can reach me through my YouTube channel, through Messenger, through Instagram. I'm available. Now that I'm well, I will be getting out there more with doing my readings again. And I realized something also with my readings that, you know, they're kind of harder to explain. I do soul mapping, your past lives. I pull in a few past lives and animals, because the animals are big with me, into this lifetime. And it's kind of hard to explain that, but I realize it's simple actually. I help tell your story, and our stories are important. So if you're curious about that as well, hit me up for those. And also my guide readings that I do help you acknowledge who your guide is, because it makes it more personal. We all can say it came from spirit, but we all have angels, guides. We have a whole team, and when we know their name and we acknowledge them, it becomes way more personal. You'll hear more, you'll feel more, and I love doing these, and I'm available for those as well. So please feel free to reach out. But you guys have a good Monday. It's a big week, like I said, astrologically. Hang in there. That lion's roar is going. So, but as you hear, my voice is still a little iffy here and there. But thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And just be good to each other and take the time. Let them be heard. Let them be seen. We all have a story to tell. Mahalo.